Happy Monday, everyone, and happy belated birthday, Bailey, and happy birthday, Jennie. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope this is just extra special for you guys because we have a cool little sprinter. It's going to be a good time, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. Now, to get us there, though, we got a sumo, good morning, to a sumo squat hold, 3 reps and a 5-second hold in the bottom of that sumo squat. We're really focusing on opening up those hips, knees, and ankles in that hold, really focus on that good position. From there, we're going to move into a single-legged morning with rotation for 3 aside, a foot assist pistol for 3 per side, and a Kang Squat for 3 to 5 for 2 rounds. We're going to hit that up, nice chance to warm up the lower body, get ourselves moving around a little bit. Then we're going to move down here for a couple rounds. We have a single arm kettlebell deadlift for 3 aside, into a kettlebell swing of 3 to 5 or a dumbbell swing, depending on what you have access to at home. And then we're going to go through some heel taps for 10 seconds, ankle pops for 10 seconds, and a skip of 20 seconds. Then we're going to finish off some vertical power jumps for a solid 20 seconds. We're going to hit that for 2 rounds. It's going to get really dynamic, get you explosive, and really have a good time here. The work set, 1 time through for time, kettlebell swing for 50, double under for 100 or double under variation, and 50 kettlebell swings. So 1 time through that list, take it down, attack it, and we'll see you on the other side. Let's warm you up, let's get you ready. All right, let's move around a little bit. Let's get those feet under the hips. We'll take the arms up big and tall. Big stretch and reach overhead. We'll bring those shoulders back down and reach to the side. We'll come back up, reach to the other side. Oh, come back up overhead. We'll forward fold. Touch those toes. We're gonna walk up the shin, and we're gonna come back down, framing a foot. We're gonna step back into that lizard lunge, nice and square. We're gonna take that inside hand to the ceiling, and we're gonna rotate. Bring that forearm all the way down the floor. Up, and then rotate, forearm to the floor, and back up, and rotate, and back up. We're going to plant that hand, take that outside hand all the way up to the sky, big stretch. Bring that hand down, step back into that down dog as we reach those hips. Press and hold the heel. Switch it over to the other side, press and hold the heel. Come back to the center, come back into that plank. Step those feet out, nice and square in those hips. The inside hand reaches. And rotate, forearm to the floor. Come back up. Rotate, forearm to the floor. Back up. And rotate, forearm to the floor. Back up. Plant your hand. Outside hand, big reach. Come back down. Plant that hand. Step back into your down dog. Reaching those hips nice and high. Let's walk our heels. 1 at a time, back and forth, nice and gentle, nice and easy. Come back into our plank, pressing that floor away, tiptoe those feet up. We're going to roll ourselves all the way up, big tall stretch. A little reach to one side, a little reach to the other side, come back down. Let's get you guys fired up and ready to go. Now, if you have a little bit of extra movement to take down, please pause that video, take that down now. We're gonna start moving through that lower body kind of warm-up set to get you guys prepped and ready to go. All right, we're gonna kickstart off our day with our sumo good morning and sumo squat hold. So I'm gonna turn profile for this one, but we're gonna get ourselves set up in our sumo squat stance, so a slightly wider stance, nice tall position, hand at the chest, hand at the rib, just to make sure that we're not breaking through the midsection. So we're going to draw our hips back into that nice hip hinge, and then we're going to stand up nice and tall. From here, we're going to change the direction. We're going to take our hips to our heels, pushing those knees out slightly, hitting the bottom of that squat, and we're going to hold that position for 5 seconds. So the entire time we're holding that squat hold, we're pressing out. We're not just getting down there and just sort of sitting down there. We're actively holding our position into that squat position so we feel that active hold, that active press, and that good contact with the floor. You're going to do that for 3 reps, hitting that good morning into that squat hold, and just really focusing on opening up those positions. Our next phase of this movement is going to bring our feet in quite narrow. We're going to bring our feet underneath of our hips. We're going to take 1 foot out to the front. Our knuckles are going to come together. Hips are going to be square. We're going to pull our hips back. And then we're going to rotate nice and slow, and then we're going to stand up nice and tall. So we're keeping that front leg nice and straight, nice and square in the hip. As we pull the hips back, we maintain that tall body position, just like our good morning. And then you take this far elbow, cross body to that straight leg, as close as you can come to that knee. Now with that, if you can't touch the knee, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but we do want to focus our attention on that slow, gentle rotation and come back to center. Now this next one I'm going to turn profile because I'm going to squat again, but I'm going to keep my feet in that hip width stance. I'm going to bring a toe into that kickstand position. And we're going to leave it down for the kickstand today because it's first thing in the warm-up and we're just using it to prime up our quads and get our hips ready. And we're going to work on a pistol. So I'm going to take my hip down towards my heel, keeping that body upright, flat foot, and then I'm going to push through that leg. So I'm going to open up that leg nice and tall. Again, for a review, I draw my hip down, keeping my weight over that front leg. This bottom leg here, this kickstand leg, is really there as a support for balance, and if I need to, a little extra pressure. But I'm trying to keep the majority of my weight on this balancing leg. Think of it like a 90-10 kind of split, right? We want to think 90% on that leg that's working, 10% in the kickstand. You'll have 3 reps of those. Preferably, I like to use a 3-second negative on those because we want to work on range of motion, position, really focusing on our foot placement. So just don't drop them really fast or try and rush through them. Take your time. It doesn't have to be a 3-second eccentric, but take your time moving down and up. Finally, we're going to bring everything together. We're going to work on our hinge pattern and our squat in our regular squat stance, nice and upright. We're going to draw those hips back into my good morning. So I feel those hamstrings kick on. I'm going to pull my hips through into that nice squat. From here, I'm going to push into my good morning. So I'm winding up those hamstrings and then stand up nice and tall. So I'm really taking the time to find that good hinge that we worked on earlier. And then I'm pulling my hips through my ankles, but they're not actually going through my ankles. That's not going to happen. But we want to think about that to really open up our hips and knees. So take your time here. This is a great exercise. If you have a heel elevation, if you struggle with depth in the squat, you can even put your heels up on something there to ease that transition from the good morning to the squat, and that'll help you get a little deeper, maybe a little bit more upright. Now, as a quick recap for this, we have a sumo good morning to sumo squat hold, 3 reps with 5-second holds in the bottom, single leg good morning with rotation for 3 aside, foot assist pistol for 3 aside, and a Kang squat with 3 to 5 reps. You're going to hit that down for 2 rounds to get your body fired up and ready to go before we start playing around with the dumbbell or kettlebell. So pause it, rock it, come back and join me. We're going to talk about some kettlebell skill or some dumbbell swinging skill. Our next phase of movement is going to kickstart off with a single arm kettlebell deadlift. I'm going to use this to kind of warm up our hinge pattern. So we don't kettlebell swing exactly like this deadlift, but we are going to use it to maintain back position and heat up those hamstrings a bit. So what I'm going to do is going to stand right over top of this dumbbell or kettlebell, depending on what you're using, and we're going to do a sumo deadlift. So I'm going to stand nice and tall. I'm going to draw my hips back into that good hinge. Once I get to my knee, I'm going to lower my body down towards the dumbbell or kettlebell. Now, if it's a dumbbell, you have to get a little deeper on that first one. If it's a kettlebell, you'll probably have a little less depth. From here, I'm going to sit back in that midfoot, pushing through those legs. I'm going to stand straight up nice and tall. From there, I can take it down to wherever I feel comfortable. So I can take it to mid-shin, I can take it just below the knee, whatever's going to allow me to open up and maintain that good back position the most. I'll do 3 per side, and then I'm going to move into my kettlebell swing or my dumbbell swing. Now, if you're holding a kettlebell, you'll hold it one way, 2 hands on the handle. If you have a dumbbell, though, we do have some different options for you. You can hold the dumbbell by the bell, 2 hands. You can hold 2 hands on the handle, or you can do a single arm swing. Now, all 3 of these offer just a slightly different sensation. There's nothing wrong with experimenting with all 3 of these through different workouts. Just make sure you pick one, all right, for this workout specific. And then if you want to try a different one later on, give it a shot. Or while we're warming up right now, try all 3, right? See how they feel and see which one you like best for today, and then use that in the workout today. So regardless of how we hold the kettlebell, how we hold the dumbbell, right, the mechanics of the swing are the same. So the same hinge pattern, the power position. I'm going to stand roughly about a squat stance, enough space for me to get that good little power position. For our demo today, I'm gonna hold by the bell. I'm gonna let my arms kind of relax. I'm just holding on to the kettlebell or the dumbbell enough that I'm not gonna let go. I'm gonna pull my hips back into that little hinge, keeping my hands close to my hips, my zipper. And I'm gonna stand up, pushing through those legs, into that extension, through the hips and the knees, and let that energy flow into my arms. So I'm not using my arms a lot in terms of lifting or pulling the kettlebell down. I'm just moving with the bell and absorbing that power and that energy and then giving it back. So think of it as a catch and throw, catch and throw, right? We receive, we give back. Receive, give back. And that's what we want to think about with that movement of the bell. We control our body position. We don't control the bell. We move with the bell. Now, something also to keep in mind with this is that if you notice that position, if I was to throw my hands back, it's the same position I'd get into if I was going to do a jump onto a box, into a vertical jump, a broad jump. It's the same power position. So I'm going to throw back and go. Same idea. We're using that good power position to get that kettlebell moving. Last but not least about this kettlebell swing, I want you guys to think about your end position, standing tall, nice and open, not laying backwards or leaning backwards. We're just coming up to that nice tall standing position at neutral. That'll save your back, that'll get you nice power output as well, and work on getting some really good flow. Now after our kettlebell swing, what we're gonna work on is a little bit of skipping practice or just some hopping practice. So we're gonna bring our toes and our heels together. I'm gonna pretend like I'm squeezing a little sponge between my ankles. I'm gonna breathe my shoulders into my ears, release that tension. My core is gonna be nice and tight, turned on, and I'm just gonna quickly tap my heels up and down. I'm relaxing my arms so they're just sort of hopping, and sort of just moving back and forth. They're not hopping, they're just kind of bouncing around with my body. But I'm thinking about my big toes, so I'm trying to initiate this whole flow through my big toes and through that engagement. So with that big toe control, it's gonna allow me to get a good bounce and a really good flow with my feet. We wanna prevent that rolling out because that's gonna kill that nice fluid kind of rebound that our foot is gonna get if we have our big toes down. Now right from that heel tap, we're gonna keep our feet together. I'm gonna pull my hands up to the side of my body so my elbows are relatively tight-ish, almost like I was gonna try to put my hands in my pockets. From here, my arms are just gonna stay in this plane, almost like they're shaking water off their hands, but I'm just gonna hop. And I'm gonna allow my knees and my ankles to do the work, and I'm just gonna let my arms kind of react to the jump or the bound. Now, I'm not trying to force this motion with my arms, it just sort of happens when I jump. Now, what I am trying to control is them staying in this kind of plane and not flailing all over the place whenever I do my bound, but just staying in this nice little flow. Okay, we're trying to control our posture and control our position. Once we're done our 10 seconds of ankle pops, you're gonna go into 20 seconds of skipping, all right, or some sort of hopping. So we'll have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, so you could always do a lateral hop, skip, or step, high knee, or a low step. You can also kind of experiment with an in-out hop. So feet are at a both squat stance. We work on that in-out hop or that in-out footwork. And we can also work on, I like this as well. We kind of draw ourselves a little line on the floor. And we work on forward and back hops. So that's a nice way to work on some agility, some different stuff. You can even work on some forward and back steps, which is also kind of fun. It's also very challenging, but we want to try not to touch the line. So we're clearing that line every single step or jump if we're working on that. It's just a different way to work some agility, some coordination, and at the same time get those ankles, get that bounce going for what we're trying to achieve momentarily in the workout. After our little ankle kind of warm up and our bouncing warm up, we're going to move into a vertical power jump for 20 seconds. And we're going to work on keeping these in small sets of 3 to 5. So we just talked about that power position that we're going to use in jumping that we use in the kettlebell swing. And what we're going to do is turn it into a jump. Now these jumps don't have to be super high, but they do, we want to think about that landing and that rebound. So I'm going to do 3 right off the hop. I'm going to stand tall, and I swing back, up, 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 and I land. And I'm always landing in that nice power position. Even if I'm only doing 3, I'm going to land like I'm going to do a 4th one, because I'm working on hitting that same position every single time. So every single time I'm looking at trying to recreate that same jump. Now something that's kind of cool with this, if you find that when you do these, you jump all over the place, pick one spot slightly forward and away and focus on that the entire time. And that'll keep you probably, I find it helps me a lot, but hopefully it helps keep you in one spot for the most part, or just take your height down and don't give yourself that much power into that jump just yet. Find that happy middle ground that you can control the jump and control your positions. As a quick recap, we have a single arm kettlebell deadlift, 3 per side, kettlebell swing for 3 to 5 or dumbbell swing, heel tap for 10 seconds, ankle pop for 10 seconds, and a skip for 20 seconds, vertical power jump for 20 seconds in small sets of 3 to 5, little mini micro rests in there. We're gonna hit that for 2 to 3 rounds, getting yourself ready, figuring out what weight you're gonna swing. If you have options at home for different kettlebells or dumbbells, figuring where you're gonna go with that, and then get yourself fired up for what's to come. So pause the video, take that down, get yourself ready. We're gonna talk about our workout to come. All right, you guys, we have made it to the workout. It's 50 kettlebell swings, 100 double unders, or a hopping variation, which I'll have on the workout description, and 50 kettlebell swings. We've already gone through the kettlebell swing quite heavily in our previous warm-up, so if you need some points of performance, scroll back, hit that up. The only thing I'm going to talk about with the kettlebell swing is that single arm swing. So if you were doing a double arm swing, you're looking at 50. If you're doing a single arm swing, you're going to take down 50, but you're going to alternate every 5 reps. Okay, so you're going to hit 5 reps, switch hand 5 reps, switch hand 5 reps, back and forth, getting that going with a nice little flow. So keep that in mind. You're going to alternate every 5 reps if you're doing the 50. From there, we have our double under. I'm going to have a list of options for you guys, including some machine options. If you have a rower, a bike at home, I'll have some options there for you later on. All right, for that, but I'll have some other hopping options in there as well. This is a really cool workout, and it does start to get a little taxing into those deeper sets. And after that double under set, or your variation of double under, that second set of kettlebell swings is going to be tough. So watch how far you go into that first 50. Make sure you give yourself a little bit of rest. Maybe break it down, and maybe don't go for the unbroken 50 if you have a lighter bell at home. Just give yourself a little break, just so you can focus on that second 50, because it's going to come down to that second one, not the first one. Now, let's have some fun today. Bailey, I hope you have a great extended birthday celebration. And Jenny, I hope you have a fantastic day today and enjoy your birthday. Everyone out there, as always, work for quality. Have a ton of fun today with this one. We got some fun stuff leading you into the holidays. It's going to be a great lead in, and I'm super, super excited. So stay tuned. Start your singing. Bye again.